Okay, so I was doing some research for the super discussion series we have going on the FullRestore channel with my friend Swift. And I was reading the... that's my AC in the background. I was reading the... I was watching the Dex videos from TheNationalDex on YouTube. Great stuff. And they mentioned at the very end of their Giratina episode, a real life parallel, where they said that, Arceus had to rip open a portal, make a bunch of dimensions, and then put Giratina in one of them to house all the antimatter. And they said that, opened up the path for humans to come from our world into the Pokemon world, and yada yada yada. But also, they said that might answer the solution of where all the antimatter in our world went if it went to another dimension. Now, science dictates that all the antimatter blew up, turned into other particles and pure energy. Big explosion. Huge amount of energy released. But what if... And I know some string theory people will call me out on this, but it's RMS. Come on, let it consider it, legitimate consideration. That's from way older videos. What if that huge burst of energy isn't the matter being turned into energy or getting destroyed or anything like that? What if whenever you open up a hole to a different dimension, it releases a ton of energy? And all that energy isn't from the antimatter getting destroyed, it's from the antimatter leaving. And whenever antimatter and matter connect, it's a quantum positioning thing. What if a quantum particle, like a single particle, like with an identity, like with a QR code, meets something with the exact opposite but identical QR code? And they meet, and they come into contact with each other. What if, because of some quantum law, that can't happen? And so a portal is opened, and the antiparticle is teleported out into the other dimension where it needs to go. Or maybe the two do annihilate each other, but the energy is from a portal opening up and a particle that's an exact copy of each of them going into different respective worlds. Or if there's an antimatter world where a proton and an antiproton collide with each other, destroy each other, and then in pops a replacement, which wouldn't happen because the whole thing is eliminated and a bunch of smaller particles come through and everything. But I like the idea of quantum particles going through dimensional holes. I like the idea of quantum particles teleporting completely, like, all together. Like, I once theorized a mechanism for a wireless energy transfer through space. What I had in mind was you set a solar sail in orbit around the sun. And then you have all the energy get wired in to the core of the... You make it like a little moon. And it would all get wired into the core of that. And then you would have a machine in the center. My original plan was to have a laser, and then it fires out the particles, the photons and electrons and everything, whatever it stores a charge in, and it fires them down from the source, the solar sail thing, down to whatever planet you have. But I realized that that'd be a bit unnecessary and, well, hard to do. So I thought, quantum particles teleport all the time. What if you could just teleport your photons to a different place, and your electrons and all this stuff? What if you could just set up two things, quantumly link them, and then just teleport energy over? And just have wireless energy able to instantaneously be transported anywhere across the world. The whole world. Other dimensions and shit. Like an infinite energy teleportation source. That'd be fucking cool. Teleporting energy. Screw teleporting people. Teleport energy. And then it gets into a whole you know, space-time thing where you get, you know, what if in order to quantumly teleport something, it needs to come in contact and stuff has to fold over and all the stupid physical materialization concepts, and how it would affect things. What if having two places quantumly linked and teleporting to each other affects some kind of material field and makes that distance shorter? I love talking about random shit like this. Dude, there's some really deep stuff in the Dex videos. I'll link some in the description if I can. But I know it's Pokemon stuff and not all of you are into it, but there's some deep real-life stuff that they source to. Especially with the introduction of the link cable in Gen 6. I mean Gen 7. I mean Gen 6. Sorry, I'm too busy thinking about Gen 7. Swift and I's headcanon is that either the next generation Pokemon will happen in Rome, as hinted at in the Gen 5 Abyssal Ruins, because there's Roman things, but then again, everything is fucking Roman. Our main headcanon, though, as using certain legendaries that don't look like Pokemon, we call them Titans. It's a huge, crazy thing. And the strange souvenir, which clearly looks like a West African idol. We think that it'll take place in Egypt or the Sinai Peninsula, in a region like Unova that symbolizes an entire continent or entire country, that's culture, entire hemisphere, yada yada yada. Yeah, a lot of Pokemon stuff. Dude, Pokemon is cool. Yeah, the Dex stuff is great. A lot of philosophies and physics and stiffs. Basically, our whole thing is that Hoopa doesn't look like a Pokemon. Hoopa Unbound does not look like a Pokemon. So we consider it looking more like a god thing, but not like Arceus' god. I mean like God, like Eldritch, like Japanese, Egyptian gods, and all that crazy shit. Buddhist gods, you know. And we consider that these things either come from different dimensions or space or the Earth itself. Our Titans include Hoopa Unbound. Basically, for something to be a Titan, it has to either come from space or the Earth or some other strange form. It has to be powerful enough to completely destroy the ecosystem, just disrupt it in crazy ways, and it has to have a sealed version of itself. Seal can be made by humans or made by itself or anything like that. And it has to act out of its own will. The reason why, say, Palkia or Dialga aren't Titans is because they act out of Arceus' will. They're made, they have a purpose, and they have to follow that purpose, or Arceus just replaces them. These ones act of their own will. So we have Hoopa Unbound, Zygarde, because of its super version and all that shit. We have Regigigas, for a very important reason. I mean, look at Regigigas. That thing doesn't look like a Pokemon. Zygarde's primal, not primal, but Super Zygarde, we call it, Titan Zygarde. That thing is big. That thing is ridiculously big. Nothing is bigger than that thing. That teaser with the shadow, with like, brrr, you know, the big, and the mist everywhere. The mist caused by Volcanion, who is powerful enough to destroy mountain ranges, and actually destroyed the southern region in Kalos to make the plain where people live, and also destroy a small area west of Pokemon Village. Theories, yada yada. Volcanion's scary. Volcanion is like Vaporeon. It can just disappear into the mist. Volcanion's scary. Its organ is just a mystery in the biological world of Pokemon. Kind of like the Mikado organ. Also, can we talk about how where's the keystone for Rayquaza? Because it falls from sky, and the second meteor is the keystone. It falls down, hits Topless City, creates Topless City. People worship it, they pray to it, because its landing caused the primals to come back. Rayquaza comes down, Mega Evolves, and then sends them back. AZ is there, which means this happened within 3,000 years ago. So Topless City is only 3,000 years old? But then our tunnel theories about... It's so hard to be a Pokemon theorist and try to get stuff to be right. But I do think I do think we'll get Egyptian Pokemon. Because can you think about how crazy that'd be? Like, Hoopa Unbound looks crazy. But imagine... It would be very offensive, though. Just imagine, like, the team, the evil team, wants to, like, blow up the Sphinx or a pyramid and resurrect, you know, an ancient Pokemon Lord of the Dead to bring back a super powerful king to... And then at the same time, the other team is trying to bring back a raw Pokemon. Like, can you imagine a raw Pokemon Sun God, and God of the Dead, and... That's some crazy shit. Like, we thought that Yveltal was crazy for being able to destroy, kill everything in its radius when it goes back into its whatever and everything. If we thought that the cave paintings of Primal Groudon going like rah, and fire everywhere and every volcano on the entire planet erupting, which is something that Heatran can do, which we think is also a Titan, even though he may not look super powerful, definitely doesn't look like a Pokemon. Well, he kind of... He's born of... You know, he's born of, from the cores and everything. Swift thinks that Landorus is a Titan. I'm not... Kind of seems more like a Virizion thing. But, you know, there are some crazy Titans out there. We talked about the Abyssal Ruins. I wonder if it's talking about Kyurem or if it's talking about En's family. Oh, about Kyurem? Definitely a Titan. I mean, can you imagine what Kyurem looks like with both fusions? Like, Black and White Kyurem are really, really powerful. Like, some of the most powerful Pokemon in the world. Can you imagine if he had White-Black Kyurem? Like, true Kyurem? Like, complete perfect Kyurem? Complete perfect Kyurem would be a nightmare. I think it'd be terrifying. Because complete perfect Kyurem fell from space in a meteor, started eating people, took control of the entire region, and then it was sealed away by ideology and locked into 2 other dragons in a shell. This shit's crazy. Pokemon's crazy. I'll see you over at FullRestore and watch some of the Dex videos. That stuff's crazy. Yeah. Portals, Hoopa. Hoopa is a problem. Goodbye, everybody. Here's hoping that's in Egypt. Rome would be kind of lame. I mean, they have their own gods and everything, but Egyptian gods. Alright, see ya. Goodbye, everybody! See you on Amino, guys.